right, I call the meeting to order of the Historic District. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda. I'll second the motion.
We have a motion, have a second. All approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I have a correction.
Okay.
Please. Paragraph 3. Where they made the motion to approve, it doesn't say who seconded and that it passed. It just says the motion was made. I think it just got left down.
Motion to approve.
Yeah, on Mr. Reed.
Do you recall who seconded by any chance?
It's just three of us here.
It's
Ms.
probably on the
Rose?
tape. I would
It must have
think.
been, I don't know what happened there.
It's okay.
Ms. Rose made it, Mr. Holloway seconded. Because
Okay.
it was just the three of them here.
We
Yeah.
can incorporate that correction.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all. I just, if somebody would want to know a year from now.
Try hitting page down.
Probably me, there's only three of us.
Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion, we approve the minutes as amended.
Oh, she's done.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve as amended, and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, moving on. 12 Broad Street. I'm going to come on up to the table, introduce yourselves, and then explain to us kind of what we got going on here. Explain your application, please.
Good evening.
Hi.
How y'all doing? I'm Joe. This is Jason. We're two that representing 12 Broad Street in the Globe. We've got a couple of issues, I guess.
More than a couple, but, okay.
May I ask what your position is with the Globe?
I am the vice president for a restaurant group and part of it.
And your partner next to you?
You can speak for yourself.
Yes, I'm an owner of the business as well.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Same here, thank you.
I think maybe the clarification might be, are you the property owner or the business?
Oh, no, just the business.
Right,
No
the
problem.
property's
No.
still with,
Yes.
Yeah, we rent the property.
Correct.
Okay, so I see a couple of different things, I guess, that you're applying for. And you know the history and everything that we've had in this property. We've gone back and forth on a couple of different things, many different times. Not your guys' fault. You're the third tenant that's come to us. It's continually changing, and things continually change, and probably really and truly, to prevent many changes and stuff, we should probably, Mr. Brushmiller should probably be here, because he can answer the questions on the building if we have suggestions that, when you're going to ask us about plant boxes and things like that, it's going to be attached to the building in some way. Mr. Brushmiller would be the one that would be able to answer those questions as to whether or not it could be done.
If I can interject here just
Sure.
real quickly, when the Normandy Museum got permission for that sign outside the end of the building, she's deceased now, but she did meet with us with her to make sure we knew that they have permission on that brick to put the sign up.
And even in moving the fence and whatnot, if you guys are here now, next year, there may be, if there's another tenant in there, and then all of a sudden this fence keeps getting moved and moved and moved. But, I know that the commissioners here have some questions, have some concerns that I'm sure that they want to express to you guys, and I'm sure you're going to want to hear some of the things that they want to say. I can tell you this, the parking that I see, and this is my opinion, as personal opinion. It's okay. I don't have any issues with parking back there. You know, it looks fine. I personally don't have any issues with parking. When we get to talking about these plant boxes, you know, I'm gonna need to see some renderings and something like that to what exactly we're gonna put there as far as the fence and whatnot. I guess, Mary, do you have anything you'd like
Well,
to
you're
add?
saying really what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. The visual as you come up Broad Street from Salisbury area, from the west, coming into town, you know, it's sort of one of the first things you see right there. And it's been a source of contention and eyesore a lot of the times over the years of the building. And I do understand with trash and having to have receptacles there. We went through quite a song and dance with that last time or time before last. So I also feel that we really need to have Mr. Bushmiller here at some time to talk to us as well, because I'd like to see exactly what is his proposal. I assume he's the one that will come up with the proposal for the plantings and how he's going to show this. Am I correct?
No, I have
Or
seven
do you
photos.
do that for him?
Yeah,
Is that
Brian's
your
not
charge?
involved.
He's not involved with nothing with us. So basically, he's the landlord, we give him a monthly
Okay.
check, and that's all he's looking for.
Okay.
Why did you put that in without coming to the board? You had to know that you shouldn't have done it.
So, what are we, on the planning board?
What are we talking
On,
about?
on the
Yeah.
parking lot.
I mean, I don't understand why you're coming here tonight to ask to put 3 parking spaces in, it's already done.
I didn't realize what we were doing. You know, what we did is we looked at old pictures that the parking lot was there before. Honestly, if you want us to move the fence back, we'll move the fence back. It's not
Well,
really.
it's not that, it's
It's
just
not.
frustration. It's one thing after the other with this building, and it's, you know,
I think that's equally our frustration because we've only been in the building for 4 months.
yeah.
So this is
things
the
are
only
being
thing that
done.
we've done. And honestly, we didn't think we were changing anything with, it didn't change, we didn't add a different kind of fence, we just simply moved it back 6 feet to what was available years past, and we have pictures. But again, if you want us to move it back, we don't want to argue, we can just. we'll
No,
move
it's
it
not-
back.
I'm not here to argue, it's just frustrating to see you guys coming here tonight before us to go ahead and do these parking spots, but it's already done. And it's just really frustrating. And it's the history we've had with this building.
I guess that's why, not against you guys are right, you've been there 4 months, and that's where I just say that maybe if Mr. Bushmiller was here, we would alleviate some of these issues each time of changing. I mean, we can talk about this parking, I don't think, I mean, Brian, do you have anything on, I know you're pretty.
I mean, we can't set a precedent of, you know, allowing people to ask forgiveness rather than permission. But I have a few issues with the way it looks now. And I find it, you know, we spent a week trying to find space for 2 small dumpsters, and now we found 3 spaces for cars. Now that the fence is gone and that black gazebo thing is gone, that header beam that looks rotten and the black paint is not very appealing when you're walking down the street. So I think we should probably do something about that. But the frustration from the commission is definitely coming from the, you know, asking forgiveness instead of permission. And this might be your first time here, but this is an ongoing issue with this building.
Well, respectfully, I apologize. I'm the one that made the decision to move the fence. And, you know, I own a building, a property in other towns. Honestly, it's like sometimes you don't know what you're supposed to ask for, what you should, what you shouldn't. And
Well, the
for-
planning and zoning office is not too far to
can't-
walk to, or
you
you've
can't-
got a phone.
I
You got here
understand that.
you got here to get the dumpster approval, so I find it hard to believe that you didn't know you needed approval to move the fence.
But that's what I'm saying, we weren't changing the look of the fence, right? We moved it 6 feet, so that's why we didn't feel like it was important. But again, I don't want to argue with you. If you want us to move it back, we just say that, and we'll move it back in 2 days. I mean, it's chilly right now, so we prefer not to do it in the cold, but
I think we should move it back.
Well, my frustration is,
If
you
it's
know,
not-
you came and desperate to get open, and we bent over backwards for you to help you with that dumpster and all that, thinking.
Is the
that-
dumpster in the wrong spot? I'm not really familiar with the dumpster situation.
Well,
Well, first of all, there was a whole plan that we all agreed on with the dumpster. And then it had to do with the fence. You know, the fence was supposed to connect all the way down to give it a, a smooth appearance instead of.
Connect where?
What'd you say?
What do you mean connect?
It was supposed to, this fence that was here was supposed to go all the way down to where the dumpsters were.
That was previous to these guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
That
we've
was
been
previous-
trying to
That was
what?
previous to these
That
guys.
wasn't me.
And then.
Because the previous, or wanted a walkway coming through there to get to the back.
But then, wasn't it the fence supposed to cover up? Oh, we were supposed to move it down to.
No.
There was supposed to be a
Their
fence.
last meeting with us was the fence that was there. They were to move
Bring
the
it
fence
down.
over and it would be in front of the ice machine.
Yeah.
Okay, just move what was there over.
Okay.
Joe called me when all this was taking place, and he says that he'd been on Google Earth. This is our conversation. He'd been on Google Earth, and he had seen planters that were there previous. Okay, and he had asked me if he could put those back, and I said, not without coming to us. It has to be approved by the commission, knowing that they were going to be opening in just a couple of days from that point. I gave him my permission to put his dumpsters where we had agreed to put the dumpsters, but to hold off on the fence until he got to our next meeting, which is now. This is the next meeting that he got to. So he was holding off on that fence to present some drawings to us for the side of the building. So I did grant him permission to get started. But there's some other things that we'll get into a little bit later on. If we, let's
So it
stick.
just seems like we need a whole plan for this. To me, like, we need a whole plan for the side of this, with the dumpsters, with the,
Because it's
Well,
piecemeal a
yeah.
little bit now, right, I see.
It's just like when Tiki Tim's went up. I mean,
we
it
should have.
just showed up.
what we need to do is have put there what we approved, 5 or 6 years ago, and how many times were we told, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. That's what needs to go up there, the on here with the ice machine, the fence that we approved, painted what we approved. That's what needs to be done, and it's not their fault that wasn't done. But if we approve something and it doesn't get done, we don't have anybody in the town that'll follow up and get something done. That's part of the problem. The owner knew that, he could be approved, but he wouldn't do it. We all do that. And if there's no enforcement, you see what we've got, it looks like a dump. There's trash receptacles full of bags and stuff coming out.
I'm
the road.
curious,
We
though.
just can't have that.
I'm all about moving the dumpsters too, and what is the difference of the dumpster there and that dumpster right there? How is that any different? It's the same thing.
Ours has been approved to have the fence up, and the
But
figures.
there's no fence around it. So again, it's one of these things, it's like, we see what other people are doing and we're just trying to mimic, and it's,
We're discussing your problems tonight, and if there's other issues in town, hopefully with a new planning and zoning director, we can get things straightened out everywhere. But we're just here tonight about you.
Right.
I mean, we have a business owner that saw a rat walk down the street in her store. All that stuff that's coming out of the bottom of the dumpster all over the road. The golf cart parks in the street, right in the street, so if you're coming to go home from getting your lunch or whatever, it looks like y'all don't care one bit about our town. And we went, like I say, we've done over backwards to help you get open. We really did.
Carol, can I interject something? I'm listening to it and thinking about you all sitting here and hear what we're saying. Would it be possible, Carolyn, to go back to the meeting, the minutes we're talking about that had the punch list or whatever it was, was it for Mr. Bushmiller? I can't, so many
Yes.
people been
One
in
of the
here.
first-
Could we come up or somehow?
I would have to go back and find the meeting minutes.
Right, and
have
that
the
we
whole
can
thing.
show them, that would certainly be more helpful. It's almost like building a house and not meeting stage, didn't have a punch list telling you what you had to fix, so.
That's all I'm asking.
Well,
Just
that's
tell us
what I'm
you want us to
hearing,
do,
that's why I
and we'll do it
interjected.
to the
I
best of
thought
our
if we
ability.
could come up and then have another meeting, once they look at this, review it, come back and tell us what you can do.
Honestly, just tell us what you want us to do. But I really, honestly, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend, I don't want to sit here and be beat up saying that we don't care. And that's not why I
Well,
come
that's
here.
the way
I'm not
it
going to sit
looks.
here and listen to
Do
that.
you
Well, I
want
think
to
they didn't know.
see
They-
the
I just don't think that's fair.
Full of trash.
I'm telling you, tell me exactly what you want us to do and we'll do it. And you're just telling me, you're just kind of bashing us. I don't feel like that's appropriate or fair.
Carolyn, can you recreate the packet with the color pictures? I saved mine, and Brian wanted them, and I took them to Nornie, so I don't have them anymore. I don't know if anybody else saved theirs.
About how far back though? How many
Well,
years?
Well, I guess you should look at the records when Mr. Bushmiller.
2019 is when he bought it, so it would probably be about 2020.
Okay.
But
I can look it up.
it was a huge packet of color pictures, what the fence would look like, the awning over the, I mean, it was all there, but we gave it to him because he was going to do the work.
This frustration goes long before you guys, and it all falls back on the building owner. And things have been not done that he was supposed to do, and now you guys are stuck in the middle here, trying to do things to get your business looking decent and get things the way you want them. But there's a process. It's a historic building within the historic district, and there's a way to go about it, and it's not been done. And that's where the frustration is. It's not, I'm not.
But I said, I'm on your side, I want to help.
Sitting there,
But I just, if you could just be open-minded, and I'll give you an example on these dumpsters. I feel like we put a lot of money into what we're doing now, and we're trying to do a good job. We've had a lot of business coming to that restaurant. We were only approved for 2 small dumpsters. That's what I was told was allowed. Well, you only give us 2 dumpsters, but we're doing enough business to fill the dumpsters in a day, but you're only telling us we're allowed to have 2 small ones.
we're not telling you that about the, that's.
Well, that's why they're overfilling, but can we have a third, or can we have, this is the point I'm trying to make, can we have a big dumpster, because our business, it's overflowing.
If you came up with a plan to hide the dumpster from the street, yeah, we'd probably be okay with that.
Where are you gonna hide them, the property line stops there, I don't understand that.
There was an area.
That whole area where Tiki Tim's is used to be where the dumpsters were housed prior to that being built. That's why there's no dumpster space there, because
But
the
there
Tiki Tim's is still
was,
there.
there
Yeah, there
was. When
Not
we
during Tiki Tim's, right?
Yes, when we approved Tiki Tim's COVID, because we were all over everywhere, and that was the one thing, and find the minutes that I had in my notes, that there had to be an area for that dumpster, and there was in the plans, and it never got there. It stayed in the street till it finally got away.
Was, in that plan, was it towards the back of the barn or more towards the side?
Because that was one of the first things I asked, where's the
Sir.
dumpster going?
So, all right, let me ask you a question, maybe this is to Ryan or Mary, or maybe even Rick. How long to code, if somebody applies for something, how long, I mean, if they apply for something, a building owner applies for something, and they decide not to do it,
I think it's a year, 365 days.
is that our code, Rick, or?
I can't answer that question with any intelligence. I don't know, I'd have to look in the code.
Okay.
But it does occur to me, listening to the conversation, they did fail to ask for permission before they did the work. We've established that, they've apologized for that.
Right.
It seems to me that it would not be fair to penalize them at this point for what was not done 5 years ago. Because you can assume that had the work been done 5 years ago, exactly the way that you wanted it, they might still be sitting here today asking for permission to do what they want to do. So to me, I think I understand your frustration, believe me. But I think that that's something that has to kind of be laid aside at this point. It could have changed with appropriate permissions a dozen times since then. So I think at this point, we have to look at the issue today and see how you want today handled.
Well, the issue today is when we have people from other places visiting our town and they look down that street, that dumpsters and messed up planning and all that, it's horrible looking. And it's something's got to be cleaned up.
Then what you're looking for is corrections to the way that it looks now, so that it looks better.
And I believe these gentlemen, Joe and Jason, they're open now to say, what do we want?
Whatever you need. Honestly, I think a good idea. I'm with you on the dumpster. I get it. I don't like those dumpsters sitting out there.
What?
The blue ones, they look bad. I agree 1,000%. If we could, and I guess we have to come back, whatever, I'd be fine where the, what do you call it, little tiki shed or whatever. We can put a big dumpster there, close it in for you, totally fine with that. I just would want you to be just open-minded to maybe helping our rent. It's a lot.
I'm sure it is.
I can tell you,
What's his name?
I can tell you it's well over 6 figures. So for us to afford to pay for the building, we need parking. We need people to come to that building. So just help, we had a person park on the side of the street and immediately an officer came in and they had moved, and it's an issue with the town itself, but maybe that's something, yes, there's a problem with this, we want to fix it, but help us with some of the other things as a committee that would understand the expenses that are involved with this and how we need butts and seats.
So parking's coming. Parking's
That's awesome.
coming from the town. That's coming. Rick, did you had something to say? You had your hand up there.
At the beginning of his remarks, made the comment about locating the dumpster within the area that's been created. When staff looked at this, that was certainly one of the things that we looked at. We kind of felt like that might be a bridge too far to ask, but we would be extremely open to cooperating with you in any way to get to a good solution.
Totally fine. We'll work on it.
Now, that's one thing this commission, I think, has always been, is we've always worked to find a solution, so we're always wanting to.
And I apologize, I didn't mean to come off and we are open-minded to whatever you want to do. And I just want you to understand that we're working very hard, and the money that we've invested into this, I mean, you gotta understand, it's already, we've invested already 6 figures into this. You wouldn't believe it, but we have.
I'm sure you
It's a huge expense, so I would ask if you can help us on the other end of things to fix the problems as to why we're, 3 parking spots doesn't seem like a lot to you. The average person brings $1,350 to a restaurant. So you figure 3 cars, 4, 8, 12 people, that's helpful. Every spot makes a difference to us, and that's why we're doing the things that we're doing.
But you don't want your people that are coming to have a really delicious meal, get out of their cars and walk to the front and see this dumpster.
I get it. That's part of the problem. It's like, even if we put the dumpster there, and hopefully we can just spitball here and try and come up with an idea, you're still 10 feet away from where people are going to be sitting there drinking and eating, and then you have birds. The dumpster there right now, on the other side of that fence, you definitely can't sit there. I can promise you that. Then you have the smell, and you have, to your point, is like you're not going to sit there and have, tacos and smell the dumpster. So that's kind of where we're at.
We're not upset with you about the door. I know that right now that's where they got it big.
Can I just ask, where are you talking about moving the dumpsters to? I didn't understand.
As a suggestion, where they got the, what do you call that?
The pergola?
Yes, we could, and then we could fence around that to make it look more appealing. My only concern is the smell. Trash stinks.
And I think that might be hard for your trash truck.
It is.
That's what-
And that's
another problem, yeah.
I mean,
And I'm not so sure the Board of Health would.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So many different.
Last meeting we had, I thought we were good on the dumpster. The whole issue for being summons was removing the fence. We understand that. My next one was the planter's box. I have an idea. The only reason I called him was to make it look better, because like you said, you wanted it to look better. The fence is fine. It it was great, we all agreed with it.
Right.
I was gonna do with planter boxes, and I had a photo for each person, for each member, to give you a rough idea when I say planter boxes. Because I look at it like, if the air conditioning's gotta get worked on, I gotta cut the fence down. This here is immovable, but it gets up-to-date flowers, and it looks good coming down the road. So it gives you kind of an idea of what it would look like. I have a one picture for everybody.
Yeah.
When we met about the dumpsters,
Yeah, we-
you said they would not be backing into the.
They don't back in there.
Yeah, they do.
They have to pull them out and then get them.
They're
They have
backing
that,
in the
yeah.
parking lot.
Well, just check with,
I mean, the dumpster truck itself.
So they're not pulling it out.
they haven't.
And I was hoping that she would tell me if it, you know,
And I don't know that it's every occasion, but
I mean, we have phone calls all the time about things
and
too.
it's not the salons, right? I mean, we've gotten it from other people.
I mean, it's just like the other day. So Range Reef on the corner gets a delivery, they park on our road. Everybody thinks it's our truck, but we do not get a US food truck.
Right.
He drops a 5-gallon bucket of oil right there in front of it. It looks like it's our mess, but it wasn't. It's not our truck, it's not our
Looks like
mess.
sludge.
But it's our problem. So I said something to the guy, and I said something to the woman that brings the trash down the road from Range Reef. And she goes, yeah, I heard about it because we didn't get 5 gallons of oil. But it looks like we did it. But it wasn't our, we don't even get a US food truck, and then we're in our delivery. But he parks there because he has no other place to park.
Right.
So to me, y'all make him mark somewhere else. Like you go to Ocean City, you gotta be off the road by 10 a.m.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's not fair for me. He's parking there and then we're gonna get blamed for it.
That's not our decision, though.
But then you don't see what I mean,
Yeah, no,
though. So that spill, that dark mark was from his truck when he left, because I seen the tire marks. And we weren't even open when that happened.
Well, you know, the roads in this town were paved in 1902. That's why they're so
Narrow.
narrow and, I mean, when you go down Main Street now, there's a lot of SUVs are all over because, you know, they're so big, so. Okay, let's look at these.
Yeah, what do you guys think? So, I mean, to be quite honest, we're gonna need to see this kind of on your building. I don't even know that we can get to any kind of a motion tonight of an approval. But in the same token, I don't believe the commissioners are gonna make any changes at this point. That makes any sense to you? Everything that's there now, I believe the commissioners will leave it like it is, but in the next meeting, you may have to come back with, and we're gonna discuss this a little bit with ideas to throw back to you, but then you'll need to bring us a rendering of it, of what it's going to look like on the side. Like I say, I don't believe any of these commissioners are not gonna say, hey guys, move that fence back, for parking, all that. Everything's fine the way it is now, and then we're worried about this.
I do think that area that's unpainted on the back of that brick would blend better if it was painted like a brick color. The one that's,
I agree. And that header fix that, whatever, that rotten wooden piece
Yeah.
of one there.
I like these. I like the ones. Because they kind of
If
match.
you go on the Google Earth, that's what
I think these would be,
So
as long as they're kept up. I do believe, I'm a firm believer, I like plants, you know, I do a lot of some, but
the only thing is
also.
these turn that ugly gray color, like that natural wood, unless they're stained or something. And also they look very contemporary for a Victorian town, but that's just my opinion. They look very contemporary to be.
The fence is original wood as well, so
I'm just saying, maybe if it was traditional looking. I mean, I like the idea.
More of
that
a
it is.
traditional looking
Almost
plan
like
box, that box right
like
there.
if you had like a picket fence or kind of look, but traditional, a brick kind of something that would sort of go in with that. I don't know what's available. We're getting sort of picky uni on that, I guess, at this point, but there's some big issues. I know you all want to get going, and we're not adversarial, but we want you to get going too, and you've got to keep the seats still to turn around the dollars. And we understand that. All of us care about the commerce in the town. I hope you understand. been so frustrating. As I said, it started, you know, with the original owner and different things. We're told we're going to be done, and then we realized we did not have an enforcer. And then he passed away, and we were sort of left out there making decisions, and people just sort of did what they wanted to do, and never was answered. So forgive us for our frustration too. So you got too frustrated.
I think the majority of the problems are a domino effect of Tiki Tim's dumpster issue, the parking issue, it's just everything.
Well, some of the boards did not want that, and some did, and it passed, and it's there. But it's caused a lot of issues.
Okay, well, let's deal with what we have in hand, because these gentlemen are here to ask for this, and I have to just reiterate to you that if we were to go for a vote tonight, I think I told you this last time, if we were to go for a vote tonight, and it's a no vote, you can't come back and ask us for a year, for anything to do with the property. If we table it, you can come back next week. We can come visit with you to talk about, you know, ideas we may have that maybe help you. We can't come with you to you as a group, but we can come to you two at a time.
Okay.
And talk about things and come up with what we feel and you feel will satisfy the side of this building and your parking woes and things like that. I think we want to work with you guys, and I do believe you want to work with us. And I think we can get it done. Just we're here to make suggestions to you. We're going to make probably a lot of suggestions, and it's not saying that you don't have to take our suggestion and do that, but come back to us and say, I've listened, but this is what I came up with. What do you think? Laura's saying these very contemporary, and they are, and there's something that will look that you can make very inexpensively that would look more colonial.
Well, and what comes to mind is when everybody thought that commons area behind Jeffrey Oxer, everybody thought that would look great, and they put all that wood stuff in there, and the wood, everything was wood, and now look at it if you walk by there.
Well, they're selling it.
I know that they are selling it, thank God, but it's really bad. And that was one of the things that was not one of our better decisions, I think, along with Tiki Tim's. Right there, that's
Hindsight, yes.
So I just am trying to say it now because, and I think the idea of planters along there is a great idea. I just think that we could tweak it a little bit to make it more so that it fits in with the historic, it's a historic Victorian town. I feel like it should reflect that in some way, whether it's
More traditional than a beachy look.
like
So it'd be more like
boxwoods.
you talking about a color.
Just like contemporary is like when it's real boxy and there's no design to it much, but also like maybe boxwoods or something that would be maybe even this with boxwood. I don't know. I'm just
Well, the nice thing about boxwood is it doesn't need a lot of water, and it's very hardy, and pretty much it grows very quickly. There's some varieties that grow quickly, and it's evergreen all year round. You don't have the losing leaves in the fall and winter, so you get a nice continuous.
And I'm just saying
hedge
that,
type of look.
like, I'd have to look into it to, you know what I mean? I'm just
Right.
telling you my first thought.
Do you have a handbook? A book that approved, fences approved? Just so we could look at it and make decisions. Like coming from Stone Hill, I know they have a handbook, so I know
Yeah.
what,
We
immediately I know what kind of
We
fence I
have
can put up.
recently adopted the Worcester County Design Standards.
Okay, cool.
With a few tweaks to it by the Planning Commission. It is on the website. It does
Okay.
not necessarily specifically speak to the historic district, but I think you'll find plenty of examples in there that are
Gives us
in keeping
direction.
with the town.
Great, okay, that'll work.
There was one gentleman on Main Street that when I was chair, was building, wanted to build it like a garage. I just went on Google and found some examples to take, and it got approved, and it looks tonight, so we're willing to work with you. You know, we're all right here in town, phone call away.
Just so I understand, so anything that's done to that building, you guys are responsible for doing, like, making changes to the building, not the building owner?
100%.
So I'm just happy that you're doing really well and you're really busy, because it's your locals that keep you down on these cold winter months, you know. It seems like we're having some more visitors this winter during the weekend, but it's good news.
So, I mean, do you guys want to move forward with a vote? Do you want, or would you rather
We can
table?
talk, like, come to me or something.
Yeah, this table, we're talk, we'll get you back on
Tell me
the,
what idea you want to go with.
let's get back on our document.
I was just trying to give you an idea of vision.
Yeah.
Size of the fence, just box.
Yeah, let's work on it. We're,
I thought it would look a lot
we've done,
better.
it's not the only place that we've worked on and come up with something, and we want to do it, and we want to do something that's gonna last, and
Yeah,
and
if I got
guys
paint,
go
black or
stay-
paint, it don't matter.
So Norty, as a chair, will you contact him and start the ball going? Is that what
I
I'm
will,
hearing?
yes.
Okay.
And anytime I'm sure, well, I'll have to text him or I'll give him a call if one of you wanted to meet him. Are you there most every day or no? So it
So
would be-
you want me there, I'm there.
Yeah, what I say, I'll call or text if one of, there's a couple that want to come over and meet with me one day. We can set that up. I don't think that's an issue.
I just didn't want it to fall through the cracks, just,
But we do, but we'll get on the docket again for next month, to move forward, and by then, we should pretty much have everything set up, because they'll be with us, and we'll come up with a pretty good solution here.
And you'll be ready by spring, because when we start our events, you know, people come, so if you get it all done before spring, it'll look so nice.
Yeah.
When the town decided that street was going to be like an extension of Main Street, they put the roads and sidewalks and where Pops is, that building, that, and people do now, like, walk down here and everything. So, it's an eyesore, those dumpsters, and I know right now there's no other place to put them, but it just kills my heart every time I ride by there,
So, I guess Mary and Ryan, so as far as the way they have it now, okay, with the parking that's there, that all meets code, everything's fine there, because at this point, we're not gonna require them to move this fence back. We're leaving everything just as is, and Rick, you can answer it, you know. It's okay with us, that they leave us, but they come back into us again our next meeting.
The only thing I would recommend or suggest is after you've had your meetings, your discussions, they've collected your comments and input, these gentlemen put together the sketch of what they propose to do, that should go into the planning office ahead of your next meeting. Literally, it's supposed to be in 30 days, but if this is ongoing, you know, just get it looked at, make sure it is okay without slowing up the process at all. But that should go in through the planning office to reach your agenda.
That's what, yeah,
Yes. Okay.
we've always done that.
Drawings or renderings or any other information should
Yeah.
get to Carolyn at least a full week before the meeting, so that she has time to do the packet.
And taking things like Google Earth photographs, either street view or plan view or hand sketches, is sufficient.
Okay, and just for future, anything to the exterior of the building, whether you put a sign up or anything, you have to come in front of the historic commission. Just the way the code writes in the historic district. Any more questions from the commissioners, these gentlemen? You guys, so I'll be in touch with you.
Well, we gotta make a motion to do a continuance.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We get someone make a motion for continuance to table, go ahead, Carol.
Let me. I make a motion on case number 2-25-01 for number 12 Broad Street, that we do a continuation of the application for our March meeting, provided the information that we've requested be delivered to planning and zoning in time for the meeting.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. So I'll be in touch with you soon on this, and everything's good the way you got it right now. Keep jamming. All right. Be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Here, a little bit. All of these were in my office, and I think where they are in the house, I'm not sure, but we moved to that. Give me this update, what did you say?
I think it was 2020, I was late, like.
2020 or 2019?
Well, now, well, they put it 2019, but I think it was a while before that. I was 2020.
Could we go through the 20?
Because we were sitting all far, when you weren't on it, we were all far apart, they were over here.
I'll see if I don't think they got called, it's just give me the weekend to look for them.
All right, let's follow the agenda. Anybody comments from the public? No comments? Comments from the staff?
I apologize. I had intended at the beginning of the meeting to introduce Ryan to everybody, and it just got right away from me. Ryan Hardesty joined us just on Monday. She's been here 3 days. I've given her about 3 months' worth of work. So, but, you know, we'll take a few minutes after the meeting adjourns for everyone to kind of individually introduce themselves and go from there.
Well, Ryan, we are glad to have you.
Thank you, I'm happy to be here.
Looking forward to working with you. Remember, we are appointed officials. So, we were asked to be up here.
Volunteers.
Okay, commissioners, any comments? Does anybody have anything they need to bring up?
I would like to know, are you advertising for somebody to enforce, because we put money in the budget like 2 years ago?
We are working toward that.
Okay.
Brian's been here 3 days.
Well, no, that doesn't have anything to do with her.
Well, it does. It absolutely does. She's the director in the department. So at the end of the day, it absolutely will have a lot to do with it.
Well, I'm sure, that's not what I mean. It's been so long that we put the money in the budget. I bet you I could give you 3 pages type of things that need to be looked at, that have needed to be looked at for years.
Can you send that in? The 3 pages, right?
I'll send it
No,
to you,
seriously,
absolutely. I'll take you and show you if you want to do
No,
that.
Ryan brings a background in enforcement. Enforcement is something that we've looked at for the last 8-9 months and realized how it wasn't getting the love it needed. So there is a process right now. We want to build together all the violations that we can, but also group them together in like kind, so that when we tackle an issue, we're going after.
I will gladly
So if you've
do.
got
I
if you've
will.
got 3 pages of stuff to look at, we'll probably take 1 or 2 off of it.
Well. and the thing is, Dave and Carolyn, so much work, and you know that there's only so many hours in a day. You know, we need extra person.
Believe me, I know for self-preservation to mostly stay away. Yeah, there's plenty of work there.
I'm still wonderful and feel needed.
Well, that's actually, what you're talking about is actually like my passion. That's what I did for the city of Salisbury for 15 years. I was the senior code enforcement officer and zoning officer as well. So that stuff is like my niche. I love that.
Well, you'll make this commission very happy. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
It's
excited
been
to dive in.
frustrating, and it was just that when we would sit here and people, you know, oh, this is done, we went naively, and then all of a sudden, a month later, we come back, what happened with, when did they paint such and such, and put the fence up, and all of these things, and so many things fell through the cracks, as I said, it's wonderful to have you come aboard.
Yeah,
Well,
and if you don't have an officer out there patrolling the area,
Yes.
you don't see that things are being changed without
Yes.
permits beforehand, so I do see the importance of it.
I stopped somebody one day from putting stucco on a building because he wasn't supposed to be doing it. I just happened to see it.
Mhm.
And I had no authority to do that with my board. So, yeah.
Carol, you can be the enforcer.
I would love to. I would love
Yeah,
to.
well, we do rely on people like you as well, because we don't see it all, you
Man in
know,
the
we're
streets.
only here a certain amount of time during the day, sometimes they're doing things after hours, we don't see it.
No, I mean, people put roofs on.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
ride down the road, you're
Yep.
going, well, they can get
Mm-hmm.
hot, so.
All right, I guess the other comment that I had to say is in dealing with Jason and Joe here, we need to, let's get with them soon. A couple of, or if you want to go meet with them one day this week or here the next couple of days or something, let me know if you can, or either, or Mary or Carol, or Brian, either one of you, let's get going with this.
Okay.
Because it's important to get a rendering back in here to have in our packet for the next meeting.
And you and Mary would be the knowledgeable one about what those planners should look like, I think. Because, you know,
And Mary
remember the
especially.
columns.
Well, I think, you know, Laura and I both understand it, but, and I had totally forgotten, because I don't go down that street when you said how the wood is colored. Because I know one in the pops, but I don't, it's sort of vacant, like, after a while you don't see something when there's no activity.
I'm just trying to think ahead now, instead of just,
Can I just say something? I think it would be nice if we introduced ourselves to Ryan.
Well, I already did. I thought we would do that.
Some of you, as you came
Yes,
in, you came over and
Okay,
said hello.
said hello, but I
And after the meeting, we're gonna, you have to chat with
All
her.
right, because I was thinking you were all here babbling, like,
Yeah.
who are these people?
We'll have a chance
and I was
to
also
chat.
thinking, those planners are on wheels, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm gonna just see those things, and they're all gonna be like, and then, and that's gonna bother
Nice box
your
for
I
eyes.
know, I noticed that too, I don't
Well-
like that part, but.
Yeah.
But that's where I think that this could be tweaked.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of what he wants to do and just
Yeah,
expand.
And it is, I wanted to, one thing that comes to mind for you all to look at, when Danny took on Taylor, my husband's a landscape contractor, so when he took on the Taylor Bank, that little, I call it a handkerchief garden, tiny little space looking, I'm sorry to say, over the grocery store, which was for years the IGA.
What was
Victoria
behind
Charm,
that,
that, I
yeah.
said, what in the world are you gonna put in that little teeny place with foot traffic? And it looks great. And the choice of plants and evergreens, that have a nice rich color all year long. And with the hollies and the few other things
It looks
in there.
beautiful.
And keeping it well, it's the 2-3 times a year, keeping everything pruned. And they're very good, of course, about their property maintenance and their housekeeping, as I call it. So there are options, just because it stays so small, with some creativity, it can look really good. And as I said originally, when you come into town, it is one of our 3 visuals coming in Broad Street, North Main, South Main, Worcester Prep coming in. And when you're coming down the Salisbury Road, the Airport Road, coming into town, it has been just a constant eyesore. So we've got a project here, I'll put our heads together.
All right, so just get with me though, so I can notify Joe,
Okay.
even if it's as soon as tomorrow. 'Cause like I say, I don't think he's there every day, but
Well, you probably need a couple of days' notice to call him.
yeah, he'll come
Work
there
that
and
day
meet
for him.
whenever he has to.
Okay.
Because he wants to get this done.
Well, I like to see it done before spring.
Yeah.
Well, it looks nice,
Yeah.
and they're gonna be so busy when the weather gets nice and we start having all our visitors again. They're gonna be really busy, they're not gonna have time to, I would think.
All right, anything else we give motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Meeting adjourned? I don't hit the stop button.